But really and truly, we get to have a reset with these AI tools. We get the chance to, as I like to say, imagine again. Skills and qualifications and all those things are cute, but now really it's just about who has the best imagination. So I'd like to show you a bit more of a blend of AI, but with a human touch. My name is Manon. I am the Chief Product Officer of Mindvalley. So today, what I want to try and share with you, and what I want you guys to be able to do when you actually, when we finish this session, or at least have an idea of how to do when we finish this session, is create photorealistic images. I will also show you how to design spaces. I'll also teach you how to edit marketing materials. And lastly, how to make your own music using AI. So everything you saw and heard just there was done between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. today. So that's what I want to try and teach you guys today. Everyone up for that? Cool. So I'll start with the generative images and the photorealistic images. This abbreviation is something that I sort of came up with after seeing loads of prompts, similar to what Vishen was showing you. So first is output. So this is actually what is the image supposed to be. It could be a cinematic scene. It could be fashion photography. It could be a product photography. The subject, in this case, I was working with a friend of mine, Idris, where we were creating a campaign for a telecommunications company in Sierra Leone. So I literally put in the words Sierra Leonean teenager, looking happy, backpack, middle of the city or whatever. So specifically outlining the subject. The background, and again, you can specify, do you want it to be out of focus, in focus, a specific city, a place, a market. Emphasizers, which after doing a bit of reading, I discovered that there are, we call them corpuses in machine learning, right? But essentially, it's like dictionaries or like clusters of words or tags that specifically organize how it understands a color, for example. So an example of emphasizers might be something like yellow core. Yellow core means pretty much the spectrum of, or the grade, the spectrum of the gradient in the color picker, where you see sort of yellow tones. It kind of understands all of the what we call hex codes in design, for all of those shades of yellow. So it will try and utilize that spectrum or zoom in on that spectrum to make sure you get kind of yellow or teal or whatever tinted finish. So you pretty much say the thing and then you write the word core afterwards. I'll show you an example. And then the last one, Vishen covered already, which is you can really specify cameras. So yeah, so if we take a look at what that looks like, a quick demo for you here. So creating photorealistic images, I made this one probably just before I did that video, so like 11:30 this morning. What does it say? It should say the time. 1:20 was afterwards. That was today. So you can see here, I've pretty much followed that structure. Output, it's landscape photography, inspiring, captivating. The subject is the back of a group of teenagers, or I even spelt it wrong, overlooking the sunset from a cliff. The background, I want Thai islands. My wife and I are thinking about going on holiday soon, and I'm actually headed to Malaysia to the Mindvalley office. The influences or emphasizes, I sort of put holiday photography, and then you can see the core word here is cinema core. I wanted to sort of feel a little bit cinematic, and then I mentioned a bunch of camera specifications, which I have saved in a notepad somewhere. You'll notice here also that I used this little parameter that is -v 5.2. That refers to the version of Midjourney. And once you guys get more into it, I won't kind of dwell on it too long. But every so often they release a new version, and it always comes with some really cool features. One of the really amazing features they released in version 5.2 is the thing that allowed me to make that video of that girl with the headphones on, which I'll explain how I did in a second. But it allows you to essentially zoom out of an image after you've generated it, which is pretty fucking amazing. So I'll show you that in a second. In fact, let's show you right now. I might need a volunteer for this, so stick your hand up if you fancy volunteering, and we'll get a mic run around to you. Go ahead and pick one, mic runner. Thank you. So you can see here, I've got my Midjourney Discord open. And by the way, look, I'm hyper aware that we've glazed over the process of downloading Discord, creating an account, getting into Midjourney, all of that stuff. Happy to talk about that afterwards. The reason for glazing over it is that now there are so many great guides online of how to do this that you'll learn how to do it, I promise, in less than 5 minutes once you find a YouTube video, and we can link some as well. As you can see, the last thing I did before I legged it over here to get on stage was create this image, because I was missing one image. Because I specified version 5.2, I got a few extra options, right? The extra options are zooming out, a custom zoom, and also these arrows. And now what these arrows do, which I can maybe run in the background whilst I'm talking, is they actually will pan the image right or left or up or down, which again is pretty amazing, because remember, that thing above or below this image it's created doesn't exist yet. So what I'll do for now is I'm going to zoom out of this, and I'm just going to let it run in the background whilst I start a new prompt. I'm going to copy all of this. We have a person, right? Awesome. What was your name, sir?
Florian.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to quickly type this in. So you start with /imagine, and then I've just pasted the thing from above, and we're just going to tweak it. So let's start with an output. What are we looking for? I said landscape photography. What would you like, Florina?
An underwater image of Atlantis.
All right, so we're going to go for underwater photography. And you said of what, sorry?
Atlantis,
Atlantis, world of Atlantis. All right, cool.
Maybe some unicorns.
And anything else?
Some octopus with 10 arms.
What? Okay, cool. These are wild. Whoa, that is scary. All right, I'm going to go with
the... than 10 arms.
I think Atlantis is definitely the lost city, as you can see here. And we can see why it's lost, given these images. I'm going to go with the slightly friendlier underwater fashion face, if that's okay, just so we don't freak out the kids online. We'll upscale that one. And that shows you really, really quickly how you can get pretty amazing photography, right? Or photorealistic images. Remember, it can't really be photography because it's something that doesn't exist underwater. Or does it? Here we go. I'll zoom out of that one just so you can see the end of that demo and see that, I can take that image and do something new with it straight off the bat. Everybody knows what Photoshop is, Adobe Photoshop. Yeah. So they have a new feature, some of you may have heard of, called Generative Fill, right? Generative Fill kind of does the same thing as what I just showed you on the zoom stuff, meaning you can create a white space around this room and zoom out. Or you can extend it to the left or to the right. But actually, you can also change objects within the image. As simple as changing color, or you can go a step further and just change the entire thing. So what I did here, if I remember correctly, was I sort of said, there's no way that I'm going to be in a hotel room that does not have a screen. So I will put one here, right here. I'm terrible at drawing, as you can see, but I've tried to select this area here, and I'm just going to say large flat screen TV. You can see my fantasies are not that interesting. So yeah, you can see it's put a TV screen there. Now, if I run back over, it's not just that one screen, because you might not like that. It'll give you a couple of different options, right? So that one looks more realistic. So let's leave that one in there. Now, I might want to start getting into my interior decoration bag, of which there really is not one in real life. But let me say that up here, it feels like there should be a chandelier. Otherwise, what kind of hotel is this? Let's just say large chandelier and like teardrop. What do they call those things? Just glass? Crystals. All right. So we're going to try and pop the chandelier on top. And you'll see there in a second, it's going to do that, hopefully, and give me a couple of options for that. And really, you can just go around and do this on the entire room or anything that you generate. There's the chandelier. There's a slightly different one. That's a little bit too small for us. That's nice too. Maybe I should have picked a bigger area. But you can see very, very quickly, you can change individual objects. You can even change that entire city that this room exists in, as you saw on my previous transition. So that's Photoshop, and that's called Generative Fill. The next thing I promised to teach you is editing marketing materials. I just picked this off Google as one of the most iconic advertising campaigns of all time. And I thought, what might we do with that today? So as you saw from the transition earlier, I replaced the thing in a hand with a water bottle. Now I'm going to try and do something different and unrehearsed, which always goes well. I'm going to say cup of coffee. Oh, that's a nice, oh, there we go. Milkshake, cold coffee. Very narrow coffees here. But you get the picture. I'll go with the second one. Maybe that's some kind of like, that's a nootropic coffee, right? So now I fancy that anyone with a nootropic coffee needs to be rocking some sunglasses. Vishen always goes at my neck when it comes to my glasses. He's like, when are you going to get some new glasses? So let's go with trendy sunglasses. Ooh. Yes. Making your own soundtrack. So, I do make music, and I'm not a super gifted musician, I promise. I'm like probably in the lowest 2% of musicians in the world. I can't really play any instrument that well. I make music with computers, and I've been doing it for a long time. But it really, like Photoshop, it requires you to master, a specific software or tool set, and it takes a long time. And then on top of that, you have to have good ideas, right? In my opinion, anyway. Like, you get to a point where you're only really going to listen to the song if it sounds good and has a certain level of polish. So I've spent a long time doing that. But of course now, as you guys may have read, there are certain platforms. Google has recently released something called L.I.A.M, which allows you to, with a text prompt, just like we do in Midjourney, create something that sounds pretty damn good pretty quickly. And that track that you heard when it was zooming out of that girl's face, I think is this one. Yeah, I think it's that one. So that was generated just by me typing the words soulful R&B beat with horns and piano. Very, very quickly though. I mean, I went through 3 or 4 cycles, found something I liked, and then I'll show you what I did. I took that download actually. I have it here saved somewhere. You can see it's called AI Test Kitchen Soulful R&B beat with horns and piano, right? That was the prompt I typed in. This is not an AI tool, as you can see. This is a very complicated music making software. Well, it's not that complicated. And I downloaded that file, and as you can see, I'm just going to show you here. The thing that you're looking at here, maybe which you recognize, is a waveform. And what I'll do is I'll just drag in that file to show you right now that it's the same waveform, right? I just shortened it and cut it and whatever to make it fit. And what I did here essentially was I took that file that it composed for me, and just with whatever knowledge I have in the space of, as you saw, I literally made that 2 o'clock or something when I was before I was on my way down here. That's what you heard from Google LM, yes? I just didn't want to play that loop for you, although I thought that might be, again, I was being pedantic. Maybe it was already impressive enough. But I just thought, let's make it feel like it kind of like grows into the song, right? So I dragged that in, and all I did was I chopped off the end there to give it a bit of swing and flavor. And then I just added one effect, I think, or 2 effects maybe. And this is how it sounds. And you'll see the dial go down here if you look carefully at where my mouse is. Voila. Right? So that's all I did. It took me 2 seconds. And then finally, what I did was drag that file into a final tool that I'll show you called to Canva. Drag those two files in, and one of them was the video that I created using this thing, Runway ML. I basically went into Midjourney, used the zoom out feature, zoomed out a bunch of times, dragged all of those pictures into this project, and after I dragged them into this project, it created a video for me. And as you can see, that's the video you saw. Internet's kind of slowing us down a little bit here, but you've seen the video before. And just to show you, all I did was type in that prompt and zoom out and zoom out and zoom out. And I use something called custom zoom, which basically instead of 2 times zooming out, I just put 1.25 instead. And in Runway ML, all you need to do is you just tell it that you want to do this thing called frame interpolation. It's literally an option, right? It's this thing called frame interpolation. Clicked that, picked the images I want, dragged them in here, and before I knew it, it generated that video for me. I grabbed that video, came into Canva, drag and drop, quite literally, and drag and drop of the audio that I exported, which is called Can You See? Because it sounds like it says Can You See at the end. Right? Pop that in there, and yeah, it created the image for me. I mean, the video for me. I hit share, I hit download, and it downloaded it. And I really want to pretend like I made a lot of effort for this deck, but I just dragged it into this and pressed play, and it worked. So that is how you can literally make your own soundtrack. You can make your own ad actually, and you can just make really interesting content very, very quickly with a handful of tools. So I hope that helps. Okay guys, I think I've overstayed my welcome. Thank you for your time. Cheers, see you around.